Hey crocheters, do you want to make a beautiful mosaic crochet blanket but don't know where to start? I'm going to teach you how to do overlay mosaic crochet. Now let me tell you, overlay mosaic crochet is one of the easiest crochet colorwork techniques you can have. That's aside from simple just striped colorwork. Let me show you why. It is basically just stripes. Okay, here's the back side of the work. Here's the front side. In the front side you have this intricate looking design, but on the back you can tell it's basically just stripes. So what does that mean for you? You're going to be using one color at a time, and you're going to crochet across. Once you get to the end, you're going to fasten off. Then you're going to take color B and start crocheting across. Once you get to the end, you're going to fasten off. Then back to color A, cross, fasten off. You're going to need to know two different stitches, single crochet and double crochet. All of your single crochet stitches are worked in the back loop of the stitch, and all of your double crochet stitches are going to be worked in the front loop that's left over 2 rows down below to hide the color we don't want to see. And that's how you get these intricate designs. You know, fastening off all of those ends, some of you get a little worried. That's a lot of ends to weave in. You can weave them in, or you can create this envelope border. What it is 2 different borders that we seam together and we hide all of the ends within. So, don't you worry about a thing. I have a tutorial on how to create an envelope border, but right now I'm going to teach you how are we going to do mosaic crochet. Let's go. Okay, let's go ahead and grab our hook. It's a 4mm hook. And for this blanket, I'm going to be using DK weight yarn. It's a Stylecraft special DK weight. This is what I use for my blanket. And I'm going to be using in this hint of silver, and then lipstick is my red color. Let's take a look at the triangle section here that we're going to make. This is what the chart looks like. We start over here on the right side and start here down at the bottom. If you're left-handed, go ahead and you can start on the left side and work your way this way. If you're right-handed, go ahead and work your way that way. This AB, AB, AB over here, this is our first stitch. The A and the B tell you what color we're going to use. And then the BBS is a beginning border stitch. I'll teach you a little bit more on what that means here. Your blank boxes, oh, you can't really see the square right here, but the blank boxes are your back loop only single crochet. Your X boxes, that's your front loop only double crochet. Then here we have these crosses, which is an ending border stitch. And then we have these repeat lines. So what that means is you're going to repeat what's in that box over and over and over again. No matter what color your boxes are, whether they're blank or have an X in them, if they're black or white, you just use the color that you're using. Like here, color B, all of these are going to be color B, back loop only single crochets. When you're working color A, sometimes you'll notice that the boxes are black and some of them are white. Pay no attention to the color. That's what it's going to look like at the end. Is that clear as mud? Might be, but I'm going to teach you how easy it is in this tutorial. Here's what my written instructions look like starting with row 3 with color A, beginning border stitch in the first, and then your back loop only single crochet for 1, front loop for 1, back loop for 9, front loop for 1, repeat across. Okay, ending border stitch. Hope those things make sense to you. Let's go ahead and get started. If you're making up the Mosaic in a Month blanket, I'm starting with a foundation single crochet of 195 or any multiple of 48 plus 3. Okay, that's what the repeat is for this blanket. But for this triangle section here, you just have a 12 stitch repeat. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to do the repeat. So I'm going to do 2 sections, which is 24 plus 3, which is 27. Does that make any sense? I want to have 27 single crochets. So you could do a foundation single crochet of 27, or you can chain 28 in single crochet in the second chain from the hook and each stitch across, and you should have 27 stitches. So for my swatch, I'm going to start with my color A. I'll try to link a tutorial here for the foundation single crochet, but here I'll show you that you can just do chains. Okay, so make a slip knot. And we're going to chain 28. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 28. Then I like to work in these back bumps back here. You're going to skip the first chain and then the second chain from the hook, and this back bump right here, do a single crochet. So if you haven't figured out by now, I'm using US terms. I'm going to do a single crochet in that back bump. Okay, now do a single crochet in each stitch all the way across until we get to the end, and we should have 27 single crochets. Okay. Once you get to the end of your row 1, you have 27, or for the cowl, you have 195 single crochet stitches. You fasten off and doop-de-de-doo. Secure your ends. Okay. Now you're only going to be working on the right side of your work. That means we're just going to keep it up front like this. You'll know it's the right side because you have your V's of your 2 loops of your single crochet stitches. The point of that V is facing to the right. If you're left-handed, it's the other way, of course, but if you're right-handed, it's this way. Okay, now we're ready to pick up color B. I'm going to use this lipstick color. Start by making another slip knot. And we're going to start at the right side of the work. If you're left-handed, start at the left side. If you take a look at our chart, we're going to do color B. The letters indicate the beginning border stitch. So I always think this first, for the second row, the beginning border stitch is a little bit tricky to really know. So what I'm just going to do is we're going to go just through both loops. This is just for row 2. Go through both loops of the stitch and do a standing single crochet. So you're going to pull through both of those loops and then pull through both of those loops. So that's the beginning border stitch of row 2. Now you'll notice that here we just have blank boxes, some white, some dark, all the way across. That's because we're going to do a back loop only single crochet across until we get to the last stitch. Okay, so to do a back loop only single crochet, here's what I'm talking about. You know, if you do a regular single crochet, you're going to go through both of those loops. A back loop only is going through this loop that's furthest from you. So you're going to skip that front loop altogether and just stab that back loop stitch. Okay? And do a single crochet. We'll do that again for you. You just do the back loop only. And you're just going to do that all the way across. Once you get to the end and you have 1 stitch remaining, you'll see that here we have our cross, which is our ending border stitch. The ending border stitch is just like the beginning border stitch. I always think that the first row is hard to say what it is. So what we're going to do is just do a single crochet through both loops here for our second row. Single crochet through both loops, just like so. When you get to the end, fasten off and secure your end. And we're ready to start row 3. Row 3 is where I'm going to really show you how to do the beginning and ending border stitches. And we have introduced a couple of our X's here, a couple of our front loop double crochets. So let me show you how you do that. For row 3, we're using color A here. So take color A, which is this hint of silver color. Okay, now we're going to be working on top of the red. We're going to do the beginning border stitch. So the beginning border stitch is, instead of just going through the 2 loops for the single crochet, in order to make our ends really secure for when we do our envelope border later, I'm going to do this beginning border stitch where, you know, for your stitch you have this V on the top with your front loop and your back loop. Well, there's also a V here in the front of your single crochet stitch where you have the V going this way. I want you to insert your hook through the center of that V. So you're going right in the center of it. And then on the back side, look how on the back side of your work there's also these V's. You're going to go through the middle on the front and then come out so that the V, both legs of that V is facing towards the outside. Does that make any sense? Let me show you what I mean. So go through the center of the V, and then both of these legs of that V, I'm going to push my hook through at an angle so that both loops are to the outside. Both legs of that V is to the outside. Okay, and then I'm going to be finishing off with my standing single crochet. So, oops, let me show you do that again. Go through the center at an angle so both loops are to the side. Pull that through. That worked. Okay, and then yarn over and pull through both of that loops for the single crochet. And so now you see this, you're going to have a V here stacked kind of on top of that V, and that's our beginning border stitch. And now we're ready for stitch number 2 of row 3, and it's just blank box. So that is a back loop only single crochet. And then stitch 3 is where we're going to do our front loop only double crochet. So to do the front loop only double crochet, you're going to yarn over, and we're not going to be working in the red at all. If we're working with color A, all of our front loop double crochets, we're going to work into the color A row down below. We're going to go 2 rows below and find the front loop that's left over. Okay, so this is the front loop that's left over down below. It lines up here. Pull through a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 more, because this is a double crochet. Just a double crochet, but we're working down in that front loop down below. Okay, then you'll see that there are 9 blank boxes. Doesn't matter what color they are, they're just blank boxes. So we're going to do back loop only single crochet. Make sure that you're skipping this back loop of stitch number 3 because we did our front loop here. So just make sure your stitches line up and go do the back loop only right there. We're going to do 9 of those. One, two, three, four, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now after the 9th, we have our X here. So that's another front loop only double crochet. So let's yarn over and find the front loop down below that's lined up with the stitch we want to use. And just go through that front loop. I stab it up like that. Yarn over and pull through that loop. Pull through 2. Pull through 2, and that's your second front loop only double crochet. Okay, now you'll see we're at the end of our repeat line, and then you have a stitch here. So that's what we're going to do is, since we're at the end of our repeat line, we're going to go back to stitch number 2 here, because that's the first stitch within that repeat line, our boxes here. So we're going to do 1 back loop only single crochet, and then another front loop only double crochet. You want to make sure your stitches line up. Front loop only double crochet, and then once again we're going to repeat and do 9 back loop only single crochets. And then we do our front loop only double crochet. Okay, if I'm making a big blanket, I would just continue repeating what's in that box all the way across. But here, since I'm at the end of my little swatch sample, now I'm jumping over to the other side of my repeat line, and I'm doing a single crochet in the back loop only. and then doing our ending border stitch. Okay, so our ending border stitch is going to be very similar to our beginning border stitch, where we're going to go through the center of that V that's in the front. But this time, we want our V in the back to go towards the left, to go towards the outside that way. Okay, so once again, you're going to go in the middle. Sometimes I find at the ending border stitch, it helps if I like take my hook and I hook that V, because sometimes it slips for some reason. Doing my ending border stitches this way really helps when I do my, the envelope border. I'm able to just connect onto those loops there and there. Hope that makes sense. Okay, so now here I am at the end, and I'm going to fasten off and start again with, start next with row 4. Row 4, we're going to do the color B. Grab my red, and I'm not going to show you anything new in this round, okay? It is just like we've been doing before. We're going to start color B. We're going to do our beginning border stitch. Go through both loops here, and then make sure both of those legs of the V are going to the outside, and do a single crochet. Okay, now our very first stitch here is an X. That means it is a front loop only double crochet. We're going to work over the white, and now since we're working with red, we're going to go through the loop that's red. Double crochet. Okay, then we're going to see we have a dark box and a light box. Both of those just mean a single crochet in the back loop only. Single crochet and single crochet, back loop only. Now here we have 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 front loop only double crochets. Make sure all the stitches line up. And once you get the hang of it, you'll get the hang of it, and you won't really have to pay much attention to where your stitches are. Just keep practicing. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then we have 1, 2 back loop only single crochets. 1, 2. And here we are at the end of our repeat line. So let's go to the other repeat line. And we see we have our X. That's going to go in that stitch right there, our front loop only double crochet. And then 1, 2 back loop only single crochets. Then we have our 7 front loop only double crochets. Okay, then we have 2 back loop only single crochets. Okay, here I am at the end of my row. So that means I'm going to skip over the repeat line and go work our last 2 stitches. In this row, it's a front loop only double crochet. Knot spot, followed by the ending border stitch. So I'm going to hook that first leg of the V and turn my work and make sure both legs of the V, that one and that white one, are to the outside of my work. You see? And there you have it. That is the end of row 4. Now, really what I have to tell you for the rest is just the same thing. You're going to follow the chart, or you're going to follow the written instructions here and then repeat. Once you get to the end of row 11, it just repeats itself. So rows 2 through 11 are repeated once again. So that's the first section of the mosaic in a month crochet along. Work up those 2 sets of triangles to row 21. And you'll be good to go. So what did you think about that tutorial? Was it easy? Was it too hard? Do you think you'll be able to make a blanket just like this? This is the Mosaic in a Month Crochet Along, and I'm going to link down to it below. I sure hope that you join in it now that you guys know how to do overlay mosaic crochet. You can do it. I believe in you. If you have any questions, leave a comment down below, and I'll love to answer those questions. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up so more people can find it. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit that little bell so you're notified anytime I come out with any sort of yarn-related content like this tutorial, crochet alongs, etc., etc. I love my crochet community. Happy crocheting!